Let's check it.
I kind of like landscape, but it's too low now. Oh yeah, welcome.
There you go. Yeah, it looks good in landscape on there too. And we're live on YouTube.
Nice. What's up, everybody?
And
Monday Night Bitcoin is live. We are trying this out.
getting Instagram live right now.
We got 3 different shots. Hold, please. Amateur hour.
We're doing an analog.
Analog style.
We're multi-streaming analog.
We got YouTube, Twitter, IG.
Yeah.
Hey, this is fun.
Yeah, it's multi-streaming analog.
So we've always wanted to do Monday Night Bitcoin live, but we've kind of wanted to work our way up to it. And so we figured we'd give it a shot tonight. Like I said, we got 3 different screens going here. So go a little bit rogue. But here's who we're talking to. People who are already Bitcoiners. Hi, welcome. Thanks for being here. Bitcoin is for everyone. We believe that. And so we are trying to create an environment where you feel comfortable talking about Bitcoin with your neighbor, with your friends, with your family. And today, talking about a few different things. Number 1, a fresh batch of preloaded open dimes is now live on the website. So check out bitcoinis.com/store. You can buy preloaded open dimes while supplies last. We've sold out of the first 2 batches super quick, so they won't last long. And the reason we're really excited about these open dimes is because we're trying to give people a different way to experience Bitcoin, to hold it physically in their hand without a ton of friction, without really needing to know a lot about Bitcoin, and in a way where like we can normalize this idea of Bitcoin jewelry. Mm-hmm. And so go check it out. It's a really great way to gift a Bitcoin jewelry piece for your mom or whatever to carry and wear.
Yeah. And look, we've seen this happen live. Like, yeah, guys carried on the keys, girls, throw it on a necklace, throw it on a bracelet, and send us some pictures of how you're using it. Because yeah, the point is carry and wear it and have it be this conversation starter. And we've seen this happen like at bars and stuff, because one of the main questions is like, well, how do you hold it? And I think being able to just whip out your keys and be like this, boom, next question.
Where is the Bitcoin?
Yeah, it's right here. It's in here.
We have an answer.
Yeah,
it's amazing. So
right.
Shout out to Open Time, MBK.
Yeah,
and all that they do, and for
our first customers. Thank you for believing in this and for pulling the trigger on this and letting us ship you something in meat space. We appreciate that.
Sure.
Cheers to you. Thank you. All
right, so check those out. Let us know your feedback. Next thing I want to talk about, Kanye West apparently is running for president. Now, this isn't a new thing, but he's been talking about it for a while. I think the thing that made his tweet yesterday go viral is he kind of teased out this 2020 vision, which people were speculating, maybe he's running in 2020.
Yes. This is a big question.
What do you think?
So, I bought draftkanyewest.com. I bought this on July 1st, okay? On July 1st. So tweet stamp that, okay? You can see where I sent it out.
Your head's cut off on Instagram.
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, Instagram. So I'm biased. I want him to do this in 2024. So I don't know if I should have gone first and already spoiled what I think. Oh. But are you down for the 2020, or why do you think he tweeted 2020 vision?
I mean, I think he's ultimately teasing his real run in 2024. Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't be, if he was actually running in 2020, it wouldn't be the first time that I have not predicted his moves accurately.
Right.
But I think the thing that's more important to me is just watching the trajectory of Kanye's life and sort of his public voice and how he's used his influence and really thinking big like he does, understanding the world stage, the global stage that he's on is one of the most influential figures literally on the face of the planet.
Okay, so we talked about that earlier. I'm gonna challenge that slightly. So do you believe total eyeballs towards Kanye have always been increasing over his career? Do you believe he is the highest influence today of any day else in his life?
Yes, but I don't think it's this linear sort of number go up. I think it's kind of been up and down. And that's how I've experienced him. College Dropout came out 2004, year I graduated from high school. And I was in love with that album. Like I listened to it on repeat. I had already been considering not going to college. I would say that album influenced my decision to eventually drop out of community college. And so following Kanye's trajectory and his journey and watching him process out loud his experience in life is something that's always stuck with me. Even at times when I've actually been disappointed or disagreed with him. He made a song about that. It's called like the old Kanye. Like that's my jam. Because like at some point, I think it was back in like 2005 when he made the George Bush doesn't care about black people comment after Hurricane Katrina. Where I was politically at that time of my life is I was a very conservative Republican, and I wasn't ready to hear that. I wasn't ready to hear what do you mean George Bush doesn't care about black people?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until a few years later. And this is after like John McCain. I followed John McCain. I threw a GOP convention party at my house. True story. and then shortly after that, my politics started changing. And I became more progressive. And I remember thinking back to that Kanye comment, and I heard it differently now that my worldview was different, and appreciated what he was doing in a way that I wasn't ready to hear. Right. At the time. So that's kind of what I see in him continuing down this path of, we talked about spiral dynamics a few weeks ago. It's kind of like seeing his evolution of consciousness continue to him wrestling with things that he's experiencing on this world stage and how it's impacting him. And so, endorsing Trump came out of nowhere. Yeah. And I was like, what? George Bush doesn't care. You went from George Bush doesn't care about black people to endorsing Trump. Yeah. What is happening? Right.
So not to distract from Trump, but to tell the audience a little bit more about George and I talk about politics a lot. Like on the other nights, we've said like this isn't a news show, this isn't a politics show, but like our journeys together and even like sitting here today talking about Bitcoin have gone through like a lot of politics. Like specifically about the jumping from George Bush to Trump and being tough to follow that thread. I have also found myself like inside, GOP red team like land throughout my life. And so a lot of people that weren't able to see it from the inside weren't able to realize that like Trump was the most liberal of all 17 guys on that stage. Like we're still wrestling with what happened like that night in November, like 2016. Like that's a fact. So this is not just us like, sitting here, just two more guys talking about Trump or whatever, like on YouTube. Like that's not what's happening. Like what I've been enjoying talking to George about is like talking about the threads of people's lives and not like it's really easy for armchair quarterbacks to look at other people and say, hey, they're just jumping from this flavor to this flavor, new like flavor of the week. Like, it's really easy to write off Kanye and say that that's what he's doing. That's the easy thing to do, okay? The harder thing to do is to say, does this guy have a point? Why is this guy on earth? Why is he saying this stuff? And why can we listen to him? Like, can we find truth in that? And I would argue, say that about anybody. Like it doesn't just have today, we're talking about Kanye and like, we appreciate like him and this is his free thinking. And he like is a great example of someone who just lives being free. Right. He's not tied down by anything happening in his head. He is walking through life, doing what he wants, saying what he wants. Okay. And that's why he's a refreshing, breath of air for a lot of people. But I just want to say that about like Trump is that like he was the most liberal of the 17 guys on stage. And so if you like take each of these little things that Kanye has done and look at them, in context and try to look at them with as big, a brain as you can. And then give that same benefit of the doubt. Is that too like, here's another, like benefit of the doubt is how I want to say it right now because I can't come up with a different word for it. But like this illustrates another thing that we've been talking about, like we need new language. Mm-hmm. Guys, we need a revolution. Like when Joe Biden, when Joe Biden stood next to Bernie on stage and was like, the people don't want a revolution, Bernie. And I'm like,
right. What people you
I want a revolution. Right. Like, dude, I'll just say, like, I would rather have like Bernie be president than Biden be president. Like, and I would rather have, and that's speaking as like a red team like person. Like, I will take a committed.
You're not a red team person.
I have been a red team person in my life,
but you've also been a no team person in your life.
Yeah.
So I think, and I'm not trying to put any labels.
No, right.
I think I hear that and I'm like, well, we're kind of orange team, right? Like,
right.
If there is a team that we're on, it's the Bitcoiners. And actually, my pinned tweet right now, if you go on page, it crosses out conservative, progressive, libertarian, and it just says Bitcoiner.
Right.
And that's true to me, and that's actually a reflection of my own story. Of like, I've gone through those. I see them as phases, right?
Yeah. Right.
Very similar to Kanye. That's why I appreciate how he's having his journey lived out loud in the public square, because that's hard to do. You know, when you build a fan base on George Bush doesn't care about black people in a lot of ways, and then you go completely the opposite of that. I mean, you're going to piss off a lot of people. You're
totally.
in this.
It's hard to follow the thread.
Right. Which goes back to this whole like quote unquote cancel culture, shame culture. By the way, all this has to do with Bitcoin, I promise.
All of it does. It's all connected. It's all connected.
But the whole idea of, you know, him entering the race now, I think what's really interesting about it is no matter what you think about him, it's a thought experiment. People now have to reckon with, because we all kind of agree, like Trump versus Biden is like the worst that it can get.
Right.
It's like the last election, it was the worst option to get, and before that, there's a pattern here, right?
Right.
And now Trump or Kanye is like, hey, what about me? Mm-hmm. And people, regardless of what you think about him, have to be like, you know, Kanye actually might be the best of the three options.
Mm-hmm.
It's the thing that makes the most sense right now. Mm-hmm. What? That's how ridiculous 2020 is. Kanye West running for president is what makes the most sense. So I think all that to say, like, to kind of finish my story of when he endorsed Trump, by that point in my life, I probably would be considered like a bleeding heart liberal in a lot of circles. And so I wasn't ready to hear it again, but what was different this time was I also wasn't ready to dismiss Kanye because of what I learned, you know, having observed his thread. I'm like, that's interesting. I'm not ready to follow you there. Definitely not ready to endorse Trump. I'm definitely not about what Trump's about, but like I know you're on a journey, and I know there is this common thread.
Right.
And then what happened, and I'll wrap up my story, is he went to the Oval Office.
Yep.
And if you have not watched the full 23-minute conversation with him and Jim Brown at the Oval Office, you need to watch it, because here's the deal. It's such a fascinating conversation, but what's even more fascinating is the way that it was regurgitated to sort of the mainstream. And if you go like the SNL clip when SNL covered that meeting, it's got like 12 million views on YouTube. Yeah. And the original video has like 1 million. So it just goes to show, and the SNL thing is horrible. It's like totally not what happened at all. But that's the majority of the message that we got, right? That's the majority of what people are consuming. And so I think ultimately what we need to do is go back to the source. And so when it's an unfiltered conversation, what the Oval Office conversation did for me was it humanized Trump for the first time. Because up until that point, all I had was what the media told me about him and all that kind of stuff, whether there's truth to it or not. There was a filter.
Yeah.
But watching him and Kanye interact directly, I was like, damn, he's just a real person.
Yeah.
He's trying his best, and he's got his opinions, and I agree with some of them, I disagree with them. But like at the end of the day, like they're two human beings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're both trying their best. So
well, and I wasn't trying to cut off your story of like my story of like my perspective of progressives has like changed also. Like that has become humanized, like to me also. And so I think that's illustrative of not that like I don't speak for everyone, you don't speak for everyone, but like there's an appetite for something new. I'm not sure how anybody could deny that. Right. There's an appetite for something new. So even in this little, you know, kind of intro whole like the thing we did on like, you know, politics and about like Kanye, and we might talk a little bit more about Kanye. Like if we said, you know, 10% of something you disagree with, 50% of something you disagree with, 60% of something you disagree with, like don't like stick with it. Like stick with it and look for new solutions. Look for new solutions and not BS solutions. Like that's I think that's where Bitcoin pre-selects for a lot of people that are open to new solutions. Like, and that's where this Kanye thing, like, we all thought it was so funny when Kanye and Elon were wearing orange that day. And then, dude, Kim K tweeted an orange jumpsuit yesterday. Right. And like, so all, like, you can follow the thread if you want to follow the thread. Like, threads are out there. Stop letting people kind of frame what's happening.
Even with this tweet, people are like, oh, he's running for president in 2020.
Right. He didn't say that. He didn't say that.
Go back and read it.
He didn't say that.
And look, he might be, I'll eat my words, but he didn't say that. But he has been saying for several years that he's going to run in 2024. He said it in the Oval Office interview that, you know, most of us saw via SNL's depiction of it. So we gotta listen with both ears is what it's all about.
Totally. And what I hope feels different about like our vibe too is like, this is just complaining about the media or whatever, okay? This isn't just the normal complaining about the media, and this isn't the normal talking about like, oh, I used to be conservative, now I'm a progressive, or I used to be a progressive. Like you all have heard that. I'm not putting down the story. You all have heard that. You've heard that from so many people, so many people. That's not a new, like, that's not, you've seen that play. Right. You've seen that act. Bitcoin, like Bitcoin is different. Like that's why all of you and all of us are so obsessed with talking about it all the time. And that's another thing we want to kind of address today is like, that's not bad. Mm-hmm. Like that revolutionary thing, that paradigm shift is not leaving. You can't yank that out of Bitcoin. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many, corporate suits get involved or how many drug dealers get involved. Like you can't pull that out of Bitcoin. Right. That's inside of it. And that's why we all show up to this website, these 3 websites, and talk about it every day.
These 3, it is fun being on 3, but the camera angles are, I'm not sure if I'm cut off.
And the square.
But point is, Kanye is probably a Bitcoiner. We don't know for sure. We don't know if it's offsite or whatever, but like lives in Wyoming.
No,
buddies with Elon Musk.
Also, can I say something about offsite? I'm sorry. Yes, look. There's multiple conversations that are happening right now, okay? There's this marketing UX conversation, okay? And then there's this OPSEC privacy conversation. Both are positive conversations, but I'm tired of watching people have cross-talk about both of them when they think the other one is playing one game, and then Bitcoiners, we spiral down into our own out-woke each other game. That's BS. That's old world. That's old world thinking. That's boring. It's like incredibly boring, incredibly boring to watch privacy people argue with marketing people. It just is not interesting. It's not interesting. Bitcoin is bigger than both these things. Bitcoin privacy will be solved. Bitcoin UX will be solved. And I would make an argument that it is solved today.
Yeah, for sure. And again, this is one of the things what's great about Bitcoin is everyone is welcome and everyone can say whatever they want to say about it, and nobody can police you, right? Mm-hmm. So it's important to address that, like, I'm not telling anybody what to do. In the same way, we're not going to listen to people telling us, like, oh, you can't do that. Well, actually, we can, and we're going to, because it's really important that everybody understands, the people who aren't here yet, who are coming, that they understand that Bitcoin, that they're invited. Right. And that's despite the prevailing narrative of, well, Bitcoin's not a community. It is a community.
It is a community.
It is a community. And it's important that we understand it as a community. I believe, that's why I'm going to express that. Because otherwise, like, what's the plan, guys? Like, what are we doing? Is the plan literally just to sit by and watch Grayscale buy up all the newly mined Bitcoin and have it be more centralized? And nothing against Grayscale. Like, great. Someone over there has figured out, like, hey, we should stash as much as this is possible.
Great marching orders inside their organization. Sure. They are steamrolling down their product roadmap.
Right, but if the community, we can find another word. I'm down. I'm not married to that word. But if the group of us who are like, hey, there's something going on here, we should really look into this. Right. If we're not actively focused on bringing others in and inviting them into the journey and helping them feel like, hey, you actually belong here too, and you could probably use some freedom just like I could use some freedom.
Yes.
If we're not doing that, then I guess I don't understand.
Bitcoin is a community. Bitcoin is a community because people that are not in freedom are a community. So people that don't have freedom are a community. Therefore, when you give someone Bitcoin and they become free, therefore now they are in a community. Like that's what it is. It doesn't mean you have everything in common. Again, all your baggage attached to the word community are because of like broken humans that have hurt you in the past. Okay, we all have that in a different way, and that is a thing. You're right. That is a thing. But that doesn't mean communities are not redemptive, and it doesn't mean communities are powerful things where humans work together and overthrow their oppressors. That's literally like so many history stories.
Right. I mean, as I understand Bitcoin, wouldn't the best outcome really be as many people in as many places as possible engaged in this network, this community of users, entering the space and bringing their own gifts and their own expertise and their own talents. And I think sometimes
Bitcoin entering their space. That's another thing too. I think so. George and I do this thing to each other where we call out buzzwords that the other person says. And so, what did you just hear him say? He said entering the space.
Right.
Look, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that came from San Francisco or whoever came up with that. And it's not necessarily bad every time, but when we keep repeating these things to each other, they lose their meaning. And that's why we're trying to come up with new language. Like, I don't
Bitcoin invades your world.
Invades your world. Don't join my club. Right. Don't talk to Bit like and here. Okay, you need some like your individualism like juice of the day. Don't join my club. Right. I'm not asking you to join my club. I'm asking you to use Bitcoin and insert it into your community. That's what I'm asking you to do. And in that sense, we talked about this word marching orders a few weeks ago, and some people can't complain about like that word marching orders. They're like, well, this is a decentralized unit, movement. If you need marching orders, you're in the wrong place. And I'm like, look, I don't need marching orders. I'm sitting here spouting off the top of my head what I think we should be doing, and I'm also preaching to myself. Like I am out there in the world inserting Bitcoin into my community, right. And I'm here now on the internet reporting back, things that we're talking. Like that's literally the feedback loop that is happening. Right. Like, and I'm asking. I want to hear this live from other people. There are people out in the world on the other side of these screens from me right now that live off Bitcoin and have implemented Bitcoin circular economies in their lives in ways that I have not done in my life yet. Right. I'm within striking distance of doing that and actively working towards that every day. But there are some people smarter than me that have not shared on Twitter how they're doing it. And so sorry if it's coming off a little frustrating. Like today, I'm excited. And that's sometimes it comes across as frustration. But does that make sense? I don't need marching orders. I would like some marching orders. I want to know how to get involved. And I've watched other people type that. I've watched people say, how do I get involved?
Yeah, tell me what to do. It isn't, people don't like sometimes the phrase Bitcoin is for everyone because it's like, well, not everyone's going to get it. And I agree with that. I think what I'm trying to say with Bitcoin is for everyone is everyone is invited. Everyone can be a part of the Bitcoin network, but not everybody will. We know that. Not everyone will embrace it. But I do think that the people that are already here, it's on us to create the tools and the resources that make it easier for more people to embrace. That's the goal. That's what we want to see happen. And so again, as much respect as I have for Grayscale, I don't want to see them buy up all Bitcoin. I think that's not good. That's not a goal that we want. But I think people get too hung up. This is where people get too hung up on this conversation is the privacy discussions. Is they're like, well, it's not for grandma because it's too technical and all this stuff.
Yeah. So
what do you say to that? Is it what's more important? Is the perfect OPSEC and non-KYC, all that kind of stuff that people emphasize? Is that more important, or is just get in the game and then figure it out?
So, lots of ways to slice that. The way I'm going to answer right now is that my goal, what I want to see happen is I want to see people be free. I'm tired of the way that I don't call it this government, call it corporations, call it kind of input institutions or establishment or whatever word, everyone can kind of insert their own word there. I don't like the way that crew is treating people. I think a parallel, closed loop, circular Bitcoin economy of people that are able to earn, save, spend Bitcoin helps them get free from that oppressive regime. That is at the top of my mind. The OPSEC and the UX and everything is a detail towards that end. So if you are working on a detail toward that end, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. The developers are really, really important. And I think a good conversation that needs to happen also is how to be good open software users. Like, this is not me. So, like, I'm not here sitting and complaining about anybody working on privacy stuff, and I'm not here sitting complaining about anybody working on UX stuff. Both those things are awesome. Both those things are awesome. What I'm slightly complaining about is that we need more conversation about circular economy, because circular economy is how we get people out of the like trapped feeling that they have, and how we get more people involved.
Right.
Like the way, and here, I want to just nuts and bolts this right now. Like, the way you get more money to work on privacy and more money to work on UX is more people getting involved. It is number go up. Like, that is what it is. And that's where, look, I can spin, like, what I love is like, Bitcoin is like, we're really trying to spin this whole thing. We're trying to spin this whole circle of every little part about Bitcoin, every single thing that like you enjoy from different pockets of this whole thing. Mm-hmm. Number go up is important. It's literally what draws people in. It draws in capital. It draws in people. That's how you're going to finance better privacy, and how you're going to finance, better UX, is more people getting involved, more developers getting involved. And so that's why we need more merchants getting involved. We need more people getting paid in Bitcoin. We need more. Like, this is just the thing. Like, and all of that will build on itself. So like, I think we need to like stop tearing down people that are talking about the entire package, and we need leaders to talk about the entire thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think the privacy discussion is important, but I don't think it's like it should be considered a prerequisite. I know that's a very controversial idea. I think that it's kind of like, so I come from a Christian background. I was a pastor for several years, and so my analogies, I think in Christian analogies, I think in Jesus analogies. And one of the things Jesus did when he first showed up was he said, "Follow me." He's like, "Hey, just follow me around." And then by the end, right before he was about to get murdered, he said, "Eat my flesh, drink my blood." And people are like, "What?
Whoa,
bro, what just happened?" And sometimes I think about this privacy discussion in a similar way. It's like, we're starting with "eat my flesh, drink my blood." You want me to do what? You want me to set up a node and a hash rate thing with the what?
Right.
And I'm being facetious, but like,
right,
kind of that's what it sounds like. And I think what would be better and more effective is if we started with, "Hey, follow me. Let me tell you about Bitcoin. Let me tell you about why this will set you free from the oppression that you experience every single day already just by existing in this." Sorry, Instagram, that went off to me. Existing in this corrupt system for so long. And then I think this is another reason people get hung up is they get this picture of, well, newbies enter, and then they don't have to do all this work that I did when I first got in. I had to learn it the hard way. I totally get that. I think that you got to get them in the door first, and then let them experience how they're going to grow, how they're going to learn. Like, so.
And you're also already being financially rewarded for getting there. So like, you already received your treasure. You already received your treasure. That doesn't make any sense. That like, oh, new people should have to learn the hard way. No, that doesn't make any sense. Like, we should want, more people to get involved. And it just doesn't, I would almost say more people getting involved is better for privacy. There's a bigger crowd to hide in. There's more people using it. More people at banks understanding what Bitcoin is. More people in the government understanding what Bitcoin is. More people in like every realm of society, every realm of gatekeeping. Like, these are just humans. Like all the gatekeepers that you run into, all the like oppressive stuff that you run into, you are not going to eradicate that by hiding from that. Right. We have to like Bitcoin does a great job of just seeping into it. The same way that water just seeps into rock and just cracks it apart. Like, that is what Bitcoin is doing. And so you don't have to hide it, and you don't have to like when Jesus said, "Follow me," he knew he was going to say, eat my flesh, drink my blood. He knew he was going to say that. He knew that was the end game, but he said, "Follow me."
Because it's simpler. It's like, okay, I'll see what you're about for a little bit. And I think that's where we're at right now. It's like we need people to engage. We need people to pay attention to what is happening around them, because people want solutions ultimately.
Yeah.
And sometimes we offer more problems or we complain about the problem. Like, we get really, really obsessed with complaining about the problem. And people just want solutions, man. People just want, like, how does this help me now? Is kind of the question that my wife asked that we've been spinning on for a while. So
someone just asked on Twitter, they said, if you bring in more weak hands, they won't hodl as well. Okay, look,
Hold on, Terry, why don't you take a deep breath before you answer this?
Yeah, talking really fast. My wife has accused me of not letting other hosts talk before.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like you're like,
right.
It's an okay question.
Right.
My questions are okay.
Right.
We're okay with disagreement.
It is a good question. It is a good question, but it's still a little bit of like.
What is the question? I don't understand the question.
It said hot, like if you bring in more weak hands, like hodling will be harder. And I'm kind of like, I agree.
Hodling will be, okay, so let's explain what that question is. So if weak hands are people who don't really understand the value proposition of Bitcoin.
Yes.
So
yeah. No, he's uneducated people make for weak hands. You'll only hodl if you understand value of asset.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
We agree with that. I was fired up because I agree with that so much that we have to pitch a big vision. That's kind of why, like, so when I hear the word marching orders and when you hear me so like fired up today and we really are just like shooting from the hip, like excited to talk to people like today, it's because I just feel this urge to like pitch a bigger vision. Right. Like when I hear just privacy people talk, I don't feel like the big vision revolution thing. When I hear just San Francisco marketing, we need more users, UX, like, oh, we have to help grandma. I don't feel this like thing. When I hear anarchists talk about like taking down the state and some like hardcore, dude, anarchists are freaking hardcore too. They're like eat my flesh, drink my blood all the time. They have extreme positions on everything. Sure. And so it's hard to click through all that stuff all the way up to like where they want me to be. Like, and so, but what we need a big vision. And the bit like Beautyon tweeted today, like think big. You know, like Marty Bennett talks all the time, like fix the money, fix the world. And like and so I think agreed, like weak hands will not hold the Bitcoin when the fiat value drops. Totally. But maybe that's because we're not preaching a big enough vision. Like this stuff, a circular economy is not, it's not a stock. Like Bitcoin is not a stock to have a weak hands or have, strong hands? Strong hands.
Hodler of
last resort. Like Bitcoin is not a stock. And I'm not saying the dollar value doesn't matter, whatever. It does matter. It matters a ton. But it's not a stock. It's an economy. It's a separate economy. Like we're leaving this old world and we're entering a new economy.
I don't agree with that. What that person said. Like, I don't think the weakest hands are the people who don't understand the asset. Like, I think those people are the most ripe to be further educated. And I think some of the weakest hands are the loudest hodlers sometimes. Like they're sitting here waiting for the moon. Then what? What happens when the moon comes? Oh, they're probably going to sell back into fiat. So actually, I think that when we talk about weak hands, we have to look at the whole big picture, like you're saying. And we have to see the revolution as a world that exists in a post-fiat world, right? Mm-hmm. Not just hodl to the moon so that you can get rich in fiat.
Right.
I think those are the real weak hands, to be quite honest with you.
Right.
And I worry that we don't talk about that enough, and we think like hodl for the Lambo is the goal here, and that's not why I'm here. And look, no offense to Lambos, if you want something you want to buy with your money, great. But I'm just saying, if we're talking about what the end game is, if we're talking about the solution to the corruption and the injustices of the world, then hodling is part of the problem. If you don't finish the thought, if you don't complete the thought of hodling until the inevitability of the current financial system collapsing, then what are you hodling for? Oh, you're hodling to get rich. Cool. That's boring.
Right.
Been there, done that.
Right.
Had a really high paying fiat job, not that exciting, walked away from it on purpose to pursue truth. And that's why Bitcoiners actually are the most compelling community on the planet right now, because what I see in common with Bitcoiners is that we are all here searching for truth. And it's been a part of our journey. We've tried this, tried that, and we've landed at Bitcoin because we're like, oh, this makes sense. This is true. This addresses the problems of the world. This is a solution to what's happening in the world. And that should be something that compels us to invite other people in. Otherwise, like, we're just selfish and we're greedy and
totally. Privacy doesn't say the whole conversation. Marketing doesn't say the whole conversation. Number go up doesn't say the whole conversation. You need all of it. You need all of it. Bitcoin is a gigantic paradigm shift, gigantic paradigm shift. And that's not, we need more. There's no reason it can't happen right now. I think people, that's a big thing. Want to hammer on this. There's no reason why it can't happen right now. A lot of people, you will be pitched a lot. It's a giant paradigm shift, giant paradigm shift, giant paradigm shift. It's a revolution. It's a revolution. A lot of you will parrot that back to me. A lot of you tell me that. Like, but all of that is future words. All that's future words. Bitcoin is not happening in the future. Bitcoin is happening right now. And we've been asked by a few friends, how does this help me right now? And the whole, low time preference answer, it isn't hitting anymore. It isn't, and I don't know if that's coronavirus or what it is, but that's not hitting anymore. And that doesn't mean spending money is not the solution to your problems. Spending money you don't have is not the solution to your problems. Spending Bitcoin is not the solution to your problems. Exiting a world that doesn't work, exiting institutions that are oppressing you is the solution. That is the overarching solution. We've all tried politics. We've all tried, searching through religion. We've all tried searching through all these things. And it's just Bitcoin or politics and religion, those things are things in society. But I would argue that freedom has to be all encompassing even past Bitcoin then at that point. You have to allow the concept of a separate, better world to actually get in your head. Right. A lot of it, we're sold on number go up, and we're sold on or a lot of people are sold on number go up, and a lot of people are sold, on payments go around. But there's not very many people that are sold on both happening live at the same time. And those that are sold on happening live all think it's happening in the future. So when I tell you right now that I believe in number go up, I believe in payments go around, and I believe in it happening right now. I believe the citadels are at hand. I believe the moon is at hand right now. I believe we can take freedom today, right now. I believe the UX is good enough for today.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. So maybe we should start wrapping up here on a couple notes. Number one, I think Bitcoiners are on a quest for truth. That's what we all have in common.
Can I address this real fast? It says taxation is why it doesn't work right now, and I just disagree. I think Bitcoin businesses take Bitcoin. Period. We're within striking distance of signing up multiple businesses in Southern California to BTC Pay Server. If you're in Southern California, our DMs are open. We will sign you up for BTC Pay Server, and you can start accepting payments right now. And again, that's not the whole solution, but it's a part of the solution. And it's one that's been a little bit of a sticky point for people. So we want to help people get over that speed bump.
Right, because it's easy just to kind of put that out there.
Yeah.
Well, this is a problem. And what is the solution to that?
Right.
Is it waiting around for the laws?
Hit us with the solution. DMs are open.
So I think okay, Bitcoiners, we're on the search for truth. We are constantly looking for truth. And what that means with our friends and our family, people in our circle, they hear us start talking about Bitcoin. I don't know if you've experienced this, if you're someone who's been around for at least a couple years or whatever. People kind of dismiss you because your personality is oh, Bitcoin is just your flavor of the week, or I've heard that recently. Yeah, here we go again. And because you have this pattern of constantly looking everywhere for truth. And what's hard about this is we can kind of self-censor. We can be well, I think I found it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk about it because then I'm that guy again. Here we go. Okay, now what are you selling me now? Oh, Bitcoin. Okay, cool. And so many of us are now in that space. But that's why this idea of community actually is important. We need to be able to tell each other hey, we found the truth, right? Mm-hmm. And not even in this arrogant way of we're right, whatever, which is also fun from time to time, but just to give each other permission to have a conversation with people that we're confident that actually we did find the truth. And totally follow me. I'm going to tell you about it. I want to share more about it.
And we can show social proof of look, this isn't, I'm not armchair quarterback in this. I'm not just explaining to you oh, this is this new golden thing. No, I'm letting you know that inside my life, this is what it's like to earn, save, and spend Bitcoin. And this is where I'm finding freedom outside of some current oppression. Right. This isn't a theory. It's not a theory.
All right, so this has gone 39 minutes, which is about double a typical Monday Night Bitcoin episode, but it's been a lot of fun, free flowing. Again, next batch of Open Dimes is now live. We sold a couple while we've sat here, so you probably want to go grab those before
BitcoinIs.com/store.
Yep. And we'll ship them out probably tomorrow and get the next batch going next week, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really love this like live version, so we'll see how people react.
We'll have to try this again. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Later, everybody. Happy Monday.
Peace.